We are discussing about geometric progressions. So what is a GP? A sequence of non-zero numbers is called GP, abbreviated as GP, geometric progression, if the ratio of a term and the preceding term to it always a constant quantity, and the constant ratio is called the common ratio. The constant ratio is called the common ratio, or you can say if we have A1, A2, A3, this is a sequence and this will be called in a GP when an plus 1 by an, that is A3 by A2, A2 by A1, this is a constant. It's a constant. For example, let me take 4, 12 and 36 likewise. So if you take 12 by 4, you take 36 by 12, all are going to be 3. So 3 is a constant here, and this sequence is in GP, right? So now we have a geometric series also. If this A1, A2, A3, this is a GP, then the expression of this form A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus AN, it goes up to end. This is called a geometric series. This is not known as a geometric series. Now it can be a finite series. If you stop at AN, it's a finite, and if it goes like ellipses are there are infinite terms of a GP. Now what is the general term of a GP? So the general term of a GP, that is AN, is nothing but A r to the power n minus 1, A r to the power n. So this n and this n, if this is A2, say, you have to use A r to the power 2 minus 1. This A is the first element and this r is the common ratio. R is the common ratio. There is a theorem that nth term from the end of a finite GP, that means if you have A1, A2 like this, and it is till an. Now we need to find out the term. We have to prove that the nth term from the end of a finite GP consisting of, say, m terms is A r to the power m minus n, or you can say an is equal to the L is the last term, L is the last term, and this is 1 by r to the power n minus 1. L, that is the nth term from the end, will be the last term, and 1 by r to the power n minus 1. This is the result. This is the nth term from the end of a GP, end of the GP. And there are certain questions which can be formed. So let me take a question. The question is, find the ninth term and the general term of the progression. The progression is given as 1 by 4, minus 1 by 2, 1 and minus 2. So we have to find the ninth term. So as I said, an is A r to the power n minus 1. So we have to find out A9. Ninth term is what? A r to the power 9 minus 1. And this is going to be equal to A is what? Here, A is this 1 by 4. R is 1 minus 1 by 2 by 1 by 4. And this R is going to be minus 2. So in place of R I am writing minus 2. And to the power 8. Right, this comes to be 64. And what is the general term? The general term will be what? It will be an is A r to the power n minus 1. This is also the general term, nth term and general term. So this will be equal to, so you know that A is 1 by 4 and R is of course minus 2 here to the power n minus 1. So how we are going to write it? Because this can be written as 1 by 2 square. And this is minus 2 to the power n and minus 2 to the power minus 1. So this we can combine, we can separate this. This is minus 2 to the power minus 1. So minus we can separate out. So we can directly write it as minus 1 to the power n minus 1 and when we take minus 1, it will 2 to the power n minus 1, and this is 2 square, so it goes up. So 2 to the power n minus 3 it will become. So this is how we solve these simple questions like this. Then we come to a very important aspect of GP, which is, and there are certain NCERT questions also, okay, in between, and that we are going to cover when we actually go to the questions. So now there comes question of selection of a term in GP. Selection of a term of GP. So in many questions there will be questions like, if the sum of three numbers in GP is 38, their product is 1728, find the term. So how are we going to assume the number? So I'll give you an idea. The number of terms are here, the terms you are going to take are here, and the common ratio will be what? I'll just tell you. If the question is asking three terms, if there are three terms in a GP, so we'll take always the middle term as A, this one as A by R, and this one as AR. So these are the three terms, and the common ratio will be R. If the question is asking four terms, then you will not start with A in between. In between A will not be there, it will be AR and A by R. And then you will have AR cube here, and then you have A by R cube here. And the common ratio will be R square. Now let us assume that we have 5 terms. So whenever we have odd terms, we have to in between have A. So we'll have A, and similarly this thing will go A by R here and AR here, then A by R square here, and this AR square here. So these are 5 terms. These are 5 terms, and the common ratio is R. Always assume and know that if the even terms are there, common ratio will be R square. If odd terms are there, common ratio will be R. I'll just take a question here for the selection of terms so that you understand how the question are being formed, right? Now question is, 3 numbers are in GP whose sum is 70. So 3 numbers are there who are in GP, and the sum is given as 70. If the extremes be each multiplied by 4 and the means by 5, they will be in AP. Find the terms. So whenever we have the term, as I said, we can take 3 terms as A by R, this way we can take, right? Now I'll tell you another method. There is one more method we can have it. Let us assume that it is one is A, one is AR, and one is AR square, right? This will also be in GP only. Now why we have assumed this, I'll tell you. The question is saying like this. The question is saying the sum is 70. That is A plus AR square is 70. So we have, and it is given that if the extremes be multiplied by 4, so extremes are this and this. So if they are multiplied by 4, that is 4A plus 4AR square, and means by 5. If this mean is multiplied by 5, this multiplied by 5, this multiplied by 4, multiplied by 4. And if this is done, this 4A, 5AR and 4AR square, these 3 will be in AP. So in AP, you know that twice of this one, 2 into 5AR will be equal to this 4A plus 4AR square, and this gives you 5R equals 2 plus 2R square. I'm just cancelling the common terms, and you have this one equation, and we already have this equation A, this equation as A, 1 plus R square equals 70. So when we solve this equation, this is a quadratic equation, we'll get R as 2 and R as half. So when we put R as half here, in this case we'll get A, and this A comes to 40. So the terms will be 10, 20, 40, and when we put this R as half, you'll get 40, 20 and 10. I'm just giving you, I'm not doing the calculation, I'm giving you the idea how the questions are going to be solved when the selection is given. But most of the time, these are the ways we take. Even if you take this, the answer remains same. But just because I want to give you a flavor that sometimes questions may ask differently, so you can have this kind of arrangement as well. Coming to the sum of n terms of a GP. So this is sum. This S is sum of GP. Now sum of GP is given by Sn, this is n term, and this is given by A r to the power n minus 1 by r minus 1, right? Now you can take this here, take minus common and minus common from numerator denominator. This will also be equal to A 1 minus r to the power n 1 minus r, and please remember r cannot be equal to 1. R cannot be equal to 1. Now in certain books it is given that we use this one when r is less than 1, and we use this one as when r is greater than 1, and these are exactly identical things. The only thing you have to understand that if you put r equals 1, r equal to 1, then this is not valid. But if you take these two conditions, this sum will be simply equal to n into A. Okay, and now if you have say L as the last term, this is the last term of the GP, then you know that L is what? A r to the power n minus 1. So the sum will become what? This sum will become A minus LR by 1 minus r, or LR minus A by r minus 1. So this is also the formula which we are going to apply. Now I'll just take an example of this one. So we have to find out, the question is find out the sum of 7 terms of a GP. GP is given as 3, 6, 12 like this. 3, 6, 12. So now here A is what? 3, and R is what? 6 by 3 is 2. A and R is given. The sum of 7 term will be A, that is 3, R to the power this 7, R to the power n. So 2 to the power 7 minus 1 by 2 minus 1, and this will become as 381. So this is how we are going to solve the question on the basis of this sum, and there are various NCERT questions which we are going to take when we take the actual examples, that is the exercise questions. Now coming to a very important aspect, which is the sum of an infinite GP. Same thing, but when you take sum of an infinite GP, the sum will be equal to A by 1 minus R. Please remember, because here we will use the concept of, because sum was what? A 1 minus R to the power n 1 minus R, or R minus 1 to the R minus 1 minus 1 by R minus 1. Now we have to apply this n as infinite. So when we apply the limit tends to n tends to infinity, this will come as A by 1 minus R. So directly you can use this. Just I'll give you an example. Let us take an example. Now we have to prove that 6 to the power half, 6 to the power 1 by 4, 6 to the power 1 by 8, it goes up to infinite, equals 6. So now since these are all the power, so we can add them. This is half plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8, and this goes up to infinity. This is equal to 6, you have to prove. Now we know that this is a GP. This is a GP. And what is the sum of this one? The sum will be A upon 1 minus R. A is half by 1 minus R, 1 by 4 by 1 by 2, 1 by 4 by 1 by 2, and this is going to give you half only. So you have half. So what is the 1 minus half is half only, half by half is 1. So this is 6 to the power 1. This is how it becomes 6. So this is the sum of infinite GP. Right? So we have two things, sum until n numbers and sum until the last, means infinite numbers. Let us take the properties of geometric progressions. So we are taking the properties of GP. So the first property is saying if all the terms of a GP, that is we have, let us take common A1, A2, A3, AN. Now, if all the terms of a GP be multiplied or divided by the same non-zero constant, then this GP, this also becomes a GP, means the multiplication division will also make this GP as a GP with the same common ratio. So it won't change. So same, multiply or divide by any constant K, this will remain as GP and the common ratio also remains same. The second property is this: the reciprocal of the terms of a GP form a GP. That is, if you take A1, A2, A3 and you take A1 by A1, 1 by A2, 1 by A3 like this, this will also be in GP. The third one is, if each term of a GP is raised to the same power, the resulting sequence also forms a GP. That means if this is a GP, you raise it to the power A1 to the power K, A to the power K, like this, AN to the power K. This will also be your GP. But the common ratio now becomes, what is the common ratio? It was earlier R. Common ratio will become R to the power K. Now the fourth property is saying, if in a finite GP, the product of the term equidistant from the beginning and the end is always same, and it is equal to the product of the first and last term. That is, if you have this, say we have AN, let me write it here, A1, A2, A3, now AN minus 1, AN minus 2. So if you multiply A1 and AN, it will be equal to A2 into AN minus 1, and this will be equal to A3 into AN minus 2. All will remain as A1 into AN. So it has to be equidistant from the rear and front. Next property is saying, three non-zero numbers A, B, C, they are in GP when B square is AC. This we know, B, because B by A equals C by B, this forms B square AC. This is going to be used a lot. If the terms of a GP are chosen at regular intervals, then the new sequence formed also forms a GP. That is, this is A1, A2, A3, AN minus 1, AN. So you take second term, fourth term like this, A, sixth term, or you take A1, A3 regular ways, or you can take A3, then you can take A6. So all these, if you take a regular term, extract the regular in the regular interval, it will also be in GP. This is what is being said. Now seventh property is saying, if A1, A2 till AN is a GP of non-zero, non-negative terms, then log A1, log A2, log AN will be an AP. So if A1, A2, these are in GP, so if you take log of A1, log of A2, log of AN, this will be in AP. This will be in AP. This is in GP. And log will be in AP. This you have to understand. Okay, there's various problems which are on the basis of this example which we have seen. Now let me just take an example which belongs to NCERT, so that we can use, or we may know how we are going to apply this. So the question is saying, if A, B, C, they are in GP, and it is being said that A1 by X equals B1 by Y equals C1 by Z, then we have to prove that X, Y, Z, they are in AP. And this is an NCERT question. So how do we do that? Let us assume that this is equal to Z or lambda. This is already Z. So it's equal to lambda. So what will it become? A will become, if A 1 by 2 equals say lambda, so it will become what? Lambda. This is under root only, so lambda square will become. When this goes here, the denominator will take the higher place. So A will be lambda to the power X, B will be lambda to the power Y, and C will be lambda to the power Z. And since A, B, C are given in GP, B square will be equal to AC. So B square is what? Lambda to the power Y square equals lambda X, lambda Z. That means lambda to the power 2Y equals lambda to the power X plus Z. What does it mean? It means 2y has to be equal to x plus z, and this is only possible when x, y, z are in AP. So x, y, z are in AP. So we are applying these different property to solve certain questions. Now we would like to talk about geometric mean. Geometric mean. We want to insert geometric mean between two numbers. See, we have say A and B. There is a GP and we have a sequence. Now we want to insert G1, G2 till Gn. These G1, G2, Gn are known as geometric means. Geometric means. So if a single geometric mean G is inserted between two given numbers A and B, we know how it is going to be. We know that if we have a C in between, B square equals this ACB. So C square becomes AB. We know already this. So C equals under root AB. So if we have A and B and there is only one geometric mean, this geometric mean will be equal to under root AB. Okay. I'll give you an example that if you have 4 and 9 and we have to insert a geometric mean in between, geometric mean will be 4 into 9 under root, and that is going to be 6. 2 from here and 3 from here. Now if you want to have geometric means and geometric means, so what are you going to do? G1, G2, G3, Gn like this. So it will be, the formula is A b to the power a n by n plus 1. So how many numbers you want, you can just put in this formula. In this formula you have to put, then you will get number of geometric means. There is a theorem also that if n geometric means are inserted between two quantities a and b, then the product of n geometric means, all these geometric means G1, G2 till Gn, mean is the nth power of a single geometric mean between the two quantities. That means the G to the power n, or you can say it's equal to G to the power n because you're multiplying it. G1, G2, G1, G2, G3. If you multiply, let me multiply it. G1, G2 and Gn. So the theorem is saying if n geometric means are inserted in between two quantities and the product of n geometric mean is the nth power of single geometric mean. So if there is only single geometric mean here, this will be equal to G to the power n. This is one of the very important property. Now I'll take few more things here. Some important properties of arithmetic and geometric mean, because they are always seen in a combined way. So the first theorem here is, if A and G, this is the arithmetic mean and G is the geometric mean between two positive numbers A and B, and of course A has to be greater than G. So we have, this is the theorem, A should be greater than G. If arithmetic mean is there in between A and geometric mean is between this A and B, arithmetic mean is greater than the geometric mean. Second theorem is saying, if A and G are, this A and G are the arithmetic and geometric mean between two positive quantities A and B, then the quadratic equation having A and B as its root is, so if A is arithmetic mean, G is geometric mean, and if we have these arithmetic means and geometric means are between A and B, so there will be a quadratic equation which satisfies this, x square minus 2ax plus g square, right? This A is the arithmetic mean and G is the geometric mean. When one more theorem which will be very helpful in solving the problems is, if A and G be the arithmetic and geometric mean between two positive numbers A and B, then the numbers are, we can find easily the numbers, that is A and B we need to find out. A is arithmetic mean, G is geometric mean in between. So the numbers can be easily found out by x equals A plus minus under root A square minus G square. So if arithmetic mean and geometric mean is given, you can easily find the numbers as well. This is very important because arithmetic because you know, if you talk about arithmetic mean and geometric mean, most of the time the question are asked like this, that arithmetic mean, geometric mean are given. So you are being tested for both the chapters, both the concepts, if you know it. Now I'll take an example of this one. The question is, Find two positive numbers whose difference is 12. Find two positive numbers, say we have a and b as positive numbers and the difference is 12. So a minus b equals 12. Whose AM exceeds the GM by 2. So AM exceeds the GM by 2. So AM is higher, GM is lower. So exceed means AM minus GM has to be 2 because AM exceeds 2 by GM. So now AM minus GM is 2. AM is what? A plus B by 2. And GM is under root AB equals 2. Now we need to solve this. So this will be multiply both sides by 2. A plus B minus 2 root AB equals 4. Now this is nothing but the formula of root A minus root B whole square equals 4. Or you can write this also as 2 square. So what do you get? Root A minus root B equals plus minus 2. And already given and A minus B equals 12. A minus B equals 12 is given. And A minus B can be written as under root A plus under root B and under root A minus under root B. See, this is A plus B, A minus B. So under root A square is A. Under root B square is B. So A minus B is 12. Now we know that this under root A minus B is already given as plus minus 2. So we can put it here. So under root A plus under root B plus minus 2 equals 12. So under root A plus under root B equals plus minus 6. So we have under root A, under root minus B, under root A, under root plus B. We have to solve for A and B. You know how to solve it. A becomes 16 and B becomes 4. So this is the way the question might be asked about AM and GM. So this is a very short way of understanding GP in very less time. So I hope we are going to take the questions now. So till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.